Look, the situation is not clear. No situation ever is when Rome's involved. We stay, but the procurator goes.
No procurator? So who are we responsible to?
You're responsible to me. I seem to be directly responsible to this man in Syria, Publius Petronius, isn't it?
Publius Petronius, the governor.
So we move to Jerusalem.
We'll be needed more in Jerusalem than Caesarea. When the statue's put in...
I can't see that. I can't see how the Jews would ever allow it.
Seems to be up to the Roman army to make sure that they do, meaning us. And the auxiliaries from Syria. The god Caligula. The Jews and Romans alike. Don't think I can stand much more of the world's madness. You know where sanity lies, don't you?
You've said something about it, Centurion.
They need somebody to talk to us. The man I mean isn't far from here. Providential? I wonder. I want your men to ride to Jaffa.
Joppa,
Whatever they call it. A fisherman. Humble man for humble men. Been doing strange things there.
Strange?
Oh, wonderful. I don't know what words to use. Even words are losing their meaning in this time of the world's madness. Ask for the man Peter. Everybody will know where he is. You and you. Bring him here.
Go home! It's not me.
Should I eat all this? Nothing is forbidden. All is good. All is God's. God's. God's.
Calm down. Calm down, Peter.
Pig's flesh washed down with goat's milk. Unclean food. No, our laws forbid it.
You've been dreaming again.
Dreaming. I saw this awning come down on me. And it was filled with all sorts of animals. The ones we're permitted to eat, together with the forbidden ones. And a voice said, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." 3 times I heard it.
It's just a bad dream, Peter. It means you're hungry.
It means we must not be afraid of breaking bread with the Gentiles, Thomas, of eating their food, if we're to bring them the good news. Now, do you remember the time when Jesus disputed with the scribes about what we should and shouldn't eat according to our ancient laws? He said, "It is not what goes into a man's stomach that defiles him, but what comes out of his heart."
Where's the fisherman Peter? The fisherman!
Over there, in the house of the tanner.
It's not done to enter the house of the uncircumcised.
Your brain creaks like your joints, Thomas. The faith has to be brought to the Gentiles.
No. It's for the Jews and the Jews only. I'm not going in anyway. Be it on your own head.
Centurion, here is Peter.
Up! I'm a man like you. I offer you peace, but according to God's commandments.
I know the commandments of your leaders, Master.
Oh, not Master, please. Please, not Master.
That it's unlawful for you to mix with the uncircumcised Romans, the oppressing Romans, that you're defiled by entering my house. And yet for me, you defy the rules. That's why I honor you.
It's clear that God is no respecter of persons. Every nation that fears him and does right seems to be acceptable to him. You seek baptism in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Receive this cleansing water. I baptize you in the name of the Lord our Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
I often wonder what people feel when they look at us down here. It's from up there that they pull our strings.
So come up here. Sometimes the puppets fool the puppeteers, Corinna. Strings are cut. Play changes.
No. We are given one stage, one play, Caleb.
I must keep believing that Rome can be beaten one day. I must not betray my call. It's grown faint in my ears. Time and distance are making it harder and harder for me to remember who I am, where I am.
You hold me as though I were your prisoner. Is it Rome you are subjugating by holding me?
No. I don't know. My need for you angers me. You are Rome, beautiful, full of wonders, and our oppressor. And I like you, and want you, and despise myself for it.
I am not Rome. Not the Rome you hate.
Have patience with me. There are days when my heart tears away from me. And all I can think of is my land, my mother buried there, with Roman sandals trampling over her.
A day like this. You call it Sabbath.
It's our holy day.
People make fun of your Sabbath in Rome. They call it superstition.
Oh no, not a superstition. It's a pact we entered into with God. The seventh day is devoted to rest in his name. That's what Sabbath means. Rest. It binds us to him, keeps us together.
Zepanius is good to allow you not to practice today.
A good, frightening man, Zepanius.
He's loyal to us, to his family. He's patient, untiring.
Few of us live long enough to tire him. A dispensable family.
Hail, Caleb! She who is going to die salutes you.
Don't.
Afraid of bad omens? Look. I can read our fortune in their flight. we shall live forever. So be careful in Pompeii. Shouldn't be here.
Nor I. And I mean that in a wider sense. The madness grows worse.
You could leave. I can't.
Family tradition, service to the emperor. My father and my grandfathers too. Their emperors were different. Julius, Augustus. There were free men in those times. Now, we're all slaves.
How will it end?
It will end with someone sticking a dagger in the divine Caligula. As he stuck a dagger in one of my soldiers this morning. A friend, by the way.
Why?
You need to ask why when you saw what happened to your sister. Power divorced from reason. I call that madness. When I strike, there will be a reason in the point of my dagger.
You?
Somebody like me. It will be the army, certainly. He thinks the army loves him. Pathetic. It may well be the striking arm of the people.
I don't understand these things. Rome is not a real place.
The torture and the death are real enough. So's the insolvency. Millions spent on temples and shrines of the god Caligula. The people taxed to the limit. You've been sold into Roman madness. And we were always told you Jews were the mad ones. That you had to learn the virtues of Roman stability.
There's madness enough in Palestine.
You! You!
Look who's coming.
I mean you!
Whatever your name is. Didn't you hear me call? If you don't know my name, madam, then how could I know? This man was at the gate. No one answered. I had to go and let him in myself.
You, whoever you are interrupting a private conversation.
Slaves don't have private conversations. Whoever you are.
Valerius Licinius of the Imperial Guard. Learn your place, woman.
Very well. If it is your duty to guard, I shall leave this man in your care. He pretends to speak to the Emperor in person. He will take care of you.
Who are you? What do you want? Aquila, a tent maker, and a Jew. I've seen you somewhere. Oh, yes. At the house of that monster Sejanus. I've come here to ask for news of two sisters from Jerusalem. They were sent as slaves to the emperor. Their names are Sarah and Ruth. This is Sarah. Ruth died.
Sarah!
She's back. You must go now. This place is not safe for you. I have to see you again. I must speak with you. I have news of your brother, Caleb.
Sarah, we're
He's
waiting
alive,
for you.
in Rome. Go.
Wait, Valerius, let him tell me, please.
Valerius!
Go. You will see him soon.
Valerius!
I have concluded my service. I have not garnered much. A piece of land lost somewhere in Campania, and a few ugly scars, but I thought I'd done enough to help you. This will be the end of your career. A career, I may remind you, that has been in this family since the days of the Republic.
The world is changing, Father. The world is breaking down in order that it may be remade. I wish to be involved in the remaking.
By marrying a Jewish girl? A slave?
Slavery, dear mother, is a status decreed by tyranny, not by blood or lack of talent. If a girl of a good Palestinian family is turned into a slave, thanks to the vindictiveness of a Roman official, it is not she that is made contemptible. It is the Roman system that is made contemptible.
Strange words for a son of Rome.
Rome is not what it was. God knows when it'll be what it was again.
What is this word, God? Have you been learning something from the Jew?
Yes, forgiveness. A word we have forgotten. And also,
What?
that they have only one God. Here, gods multiply every day. The divine Caligula, our new god, has to pay for his mock campaigns. He's heavily in debt and taxes can no longer come to his rescue. He's finally selling what's left of his sister's properties. Their slaves are to be auctioned. I wish to buy a well-born Jewish lady out of slavery. Have we the money to do it?
We? We? Oh, this is your affair, son. Not mine or your mother's.
There is my patrimony.
When I'm dead and not before. And it doesn't amount to much. A professional soldier, as you are beginning to learn, does not become rich easily.
When may we see the girl?
When I can raise some money.
Days are growing warmer. When will Caleb come back from Pompeii?
Soon. They are planning new palace games. Caligula gets easily bored. I saw Valerius and Sarah. He swears he'll set her free, whatever the cost.
Even if her slave mistress sends her to be sold with the others, the price would be too high.
He even asked his father for help. His father.
What can we do? We're little fish swimming in a big ocean. How will we tell Caleb that Ruth is dead and Sarah still in danger?
The Lord will help us. No, Priscilla. I've just come to accept that the secret of life is hope. That even death may not be the end. I was led by his crucified hand out of darkness.
Remember our old friend of the fish? Miracles happened, he said.
How much could they ask for a young Jewish slave?
So, who'll start the bidding at, say, 500 sesterces?
500.
500, that gentleman over there. 500. 750, anyone? Do I hear 750? 750?
750.
750, that gentleman over there. And now, anyone make it 1,000? 1,000, anyone, please? Do I hear 1,000? No? Please, 1,000. Come, gentlemen. Must have 1,000. Do I hear 1,000? 1,000 from that gentleman over there. 1,000. 1,000. 1,500, anybody? 1,500. 1,500. 1,500. Yes? 1,500. No? Nobody? Nobody? 1,500. Sold to that gentleman there for 1,000 sesterces. Gold and silver only, please. No bronze or lesser coins. Emperor's orders.
Come with me.
Thank you, Gracchus. Was it enough?
Not quite. We needed more.
How?
A man called Aquila came to me. He gave me the rest. Said he owed money. For a fish?
I was able to convince my family to let me buy your freedom. I had to promise to stay in the Emperor's service. Father, Mother, my friends, I call on you to be my witnesses. I give back to this woman, Sarah, her freedom. I ask her to become my wife.
I have examined the entrails of the lamb you have sacrificed. It is indeed just and propitious to tie this marriage bond.
These are the symbols of your virtues in governing your new home.
The distaff and the spindle. Now recite the wedding vows.
Where you are, Gaius, I, Gaia, will be.
Where you are, Sarah, I, Valerius, will be.
May happiness attend you for all the years to come. This is the spelt cake that consecrates this day.
Hail, Valerius!
Prosperity to you always. Joy in your home.
Welcome, lady of our house. Receive the light and the water.
Sarah, anoint your threshold with oil from the olive. May your home be always pure. Now lift the bride.
Was Sarah wounded?
No, she just fainted. Caligula thought she was dead.
Didn't anyone try to help her?
A young Roman officer.
His name is Valerius, a brave man. He's become very dear to Sarah.
He bought her freedom. They were married a few days ago.
Rome tears our hearts apart and then fills them with love.
You will meet her soon.
I will not see her until I'm at peace with my conscience. Until I have met the monster and he pays for what he did to Sarah. And for Ruth.
You're talking like a madman, Caleb. Caesar is beyond your reach. He's surrounded by swords, ready to cut you to pieces. You would stand no chance.
Where is your faith, old friend? Your fish is mute, isn't it?
I know the problems, Caiaphas. I recognize that my mission is difficult, almost impossible. But when my emperor commands, I can do nothing but obey. You know what the order is? The statue must be installed, or I will have to take my own life. If this were the solution, you could, of course, readily agree with it. But my death would only increase Caligula's anger. Military action will be taken, your temple, your city, your nation destroyed.
Publius.
If the statue of the Emperor is set up inside the Holy Temple of Jerusalem...
Some Jewish people will cut their throats, I know.
Many Jewish people will cut Roman throats first.
Caiaphas, be reasonable. The Emperor Caligula believes himself to be a god. Indeed, soon he will want to be the one and only god. We must find a solution. A compromise. We could place the statue in one of the outer courtyards. They would not object, would they?
You know the answer to that. To us, it would still be a desecration.
It's laid down, Peter. Everything's laid down in the scriptures. The law of Moses is not changed by the new law.
You mean that I have to turn a Roman centurion into a Jew? Circumcise him before I can turn him into a Christian?
The only way to the New Testament is through the Old. You cannot be a Christian unless you abide by the rules laid down in our Torah. You can't turn a man into a Jew. You have to be born a Jew. But if you're born a Jew, then you can become a Christian. It's as simple as that.
So we ignore the Gentiles. We were told, as I remember, that we had to get out all over the world and bring the message to whoever would listen. We were told nothing about being made unclean if we entered the houses of the Gentiles.
We didn't need to be told. We knew it already. It's laid down in the covenant and the law. Peter, this...
Right. So I baptize a dozen soldiers who believe that Jesus is the Son of God, and I do wrong. And if a man eats a piece of beef and washes it down with a cup of goat's milk, that's wrong too? Is that it?
Here we go.
You seem to forget sometimes that we were given a burden to carry. He said to me, you are Peter, you are the rock. So he sends down a vision, I accept that vision, and you tell me that I'm wrong. I get the call to bring the good news to a number of Romans, and that's wrong too. You are slow to learn. Stephen was not slow. That's why they killed him. Stephen saw that a new way began where the old ended.
I cannot accept it. I cannot!
Will not. There's more like it. You still need to be cured of your stubbornness. And if the blood-stained Caligula himself saw the light and said that he wanted to turn Christian, what do we do? Do we say, no, your imperial blood-stained majesty, you are not a Jew, so you cannot be a Christian? It seems to me that you all have a great deal of rethinking to do.
How about the temple?
What about the temple?
Is it still our temple? Do we join up with the other Jews who are not Nazarenes and die for the temple?
They too are martyrs, and we respect them. But we know that our heart is the Lord's temple.
Oh, you don't understand me, Peter. We're still part of the history of the Jews, which means we have to defend the temple.
Yes.
Well, he would have stood up there with a whip. You know that.
So we, who are whipped and stoned and jailed, we now have to fight for a statue? Is that what you mean?
No.
They threatened to desecrate our temple by shoving into it a statue of their emperor god.
We have work to do. We cannot afford to be knifed or strung up on a cross. The Romans want us to fight back, but we must not yield to the temptations that they offer us. We have work to do.
He is responsible for innumerable crimes.
The crimes are nothing.
Nothing? Rape, mutilation, confiscation of property. Have you seen the list of them?
Cassius, you can't make a quantitative judgment. Accept the evil of the man, and you must accept his killing of the entire world. What cannot be accepted is the humiliation of the imperial army. He proposes another humiliation.
And what is that? Another mock attempt to conquer Britannia. A raid or two, a few prisoners. Himself to stay snug in his tent, while he imposes on the army the lie that he led it to Britannia, into battle, to victory in the southern tribal areas. A triumphant procession back to Rome. Caligula, the military hero. I say no!
Can wait no longer.
We mustn't forget his German bodyguards are never far from him. Their swords are deadly.
We know deadlier swords. Yes, Marcus. Your gladiators can look after the Germans. But Caligula... he must be approached by someone above suspicion.
Leave that to me.
And to me.
Will you help Rome, Valerius?
Lord be praised, for he reunites what was divided.
It's been so long.
There's been so much suffering, fighting. I have prayed for this moment. Why did you marry him?
You rescued me. He was the only human presence in my life. I thought you were dead.
He is a Roman soldier. They killed so many of us.
And you killed a few of them, Caleb. Valerius serves his country as you wish to serve yours. He does not hate us. He loves me.
So he does.
We are lost in a storm, Caleb. We have to hold on to something. I was told that you too, my zealot brother, found love in a Roman. Why do you reproach me?
Because it's different. Because the woman I love has come to me. She's ready to follow me. She's no longer a Roman. Didn't you say, Sarah, where he is, I shall be? You are the wife of a Roman soldier.
An honest man. Yes, I repeated the Roman formula. But I could have easily used our own. This is the man I love. For I love him and respect him. You will learn to like him, Caleb.
God made us find each other again, sister. He will spare me the pain of meeting your Roman. All that matters to me is that you are alive, prisoner of your own will. But as Stephen once said, blessedly alive.
I share my life with Valerius. You must accept it. I need your love.
You have it. Now, let us talk about ourselves. Brother and sister. Of our mother. And Ruth.
The Emperor Caligula is dead. For the moment, we are both saved.
Caesar is dead! The Emperor Gaius Caligula is dead!
As an imperial monarchy, it has been disgraced. Our recent experience with emperors leads many of us, and I would say a majority, into a wholly reasonable desire to re-establish the Republic. As a Republic, Rome flourished, and will flourish again.
As for the Jews, they are not wanted in Rome. They cannot assimilate, and they will not. They're sectarians, squabblings, they are a wandering race. Well, perhaps it would be better to let them wander back to Palestine. They will be content to find a Jewish king awaiting them, a king appointed by Rome. The Jews must leave Rome. If that is not policy acceptable to the Senate, then the Senate is unworthy to advise its emperor.
Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom.
Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem.
Which we reply, Aleichem Shalom.
Aleichem Shalom.
Shalom, Caleb.
This is the Aquiline Roman who took my sister.
The man who set her free. Also a friend.
You're quick in granting your friendship, Aquila.
He brought me back the money I gave him to help buy Sarah's freedom.
And I've asked Aquila to teach me your language.
To better impart us your orders.
To know you better. To understand you. I may visit your land one day.
My land? Has the Roman eagle released it from its talons?
Rome considers it a friendly country.
Friendship cannot be imposed. You invaded my country, you occupy it. But that's the mission of Rome, isn't it? To spread civilization.
We build aqueducts, bridges, roads. Along them law and order travel with us.
Also war and death and slavery. We have our law, we had our order.
Caleb, remember Valerius is a guest in this house. My house.
I happen to love Sarah. Through her, in my Aquiline way, I love your country. I want to be ready to help it as much as I can.
Do you think you can convince your legions to withdraw? To leave Jerusalem to my brothers? Judea to my people? Can you persuade your emperor to let us stay in Rome?
I believe I can work for a better world. For a future of peace.
A world with Rome in its own place. And a future without triumphant legions. Oh, you're a dreamer. We learned hard that there's danger in dreams.
It's a dream I share with your sister.
I had another sister. She died. Sarah is all I have left. Yet I feel I've lost her to you, to Rome.
Valerius was the only one who helped her. God's will works in strange ways. The two of you may yet help make that dream come true.
Not in our time, Aquila.
Maybe not. But there's God's own time. God's own design.
I offer you my friendship, Caleb.
I can give you only my hatred in return.
Our meeting. I had imagined it very different.
Why? Did you think it would be enough to say, Shalom, I am your Roman brother-in-law, to wipe away the blood, the tears?
Shalom.
How can you, a Roman?
Say shalom.
It means peace be with you.
I know.
You brought war to us. You keep waging your war every day.
I come to you in peace. I want to build peace, Caleb, with your help. I have to be going, my friend. Shalom Aleichem.
Aleichem Shalom.
Peace be with you, Caleb. Yes?
Julius Valerius, standard bearer of the guard. I was ordered to report to you.
You're married to a Jewish woman, are you not?
I am.
You are aware of our Emperor Claudius's ruling. All followers of the foreign superstition are banned from Rome.
My wife is a citizen of Rome.
The law applies to citizens of Rome as well.
Do you mean
she will have to leave? Unless, of course, you can prove that she has renounced her superstitious belief.
How?
The law allows you, as her husband, to conduct a trial in your own home. In the presence of 3 witnesses, you will ask her to sacrifice to the gods of Rome. You and your witnesses will report to us. Rome grants you every right. You must recognize Rome's right to ask for your loyalty. You may go.
I cannot do it. I will never do it.
You are not asked to believe, just to prove your loyalty.
I stand accused of practicing a foreign superstition, and yet I must fake acceptance of a superstition which is foreign to me. How low do you, my husband, think my self-respect can fall?
It is not only me you should consider. Think of our future. A mere gesture. Your hand, not your heart.
Our future? What about myself, Valerius? No, I will not allow another lie.
We have heard your wife, Valerius. We are convinced that there is no treason in her heart or mind. She is loyal to you, a soldier of Rome.
When a reverend Jew cannot get into his own place of worship, crammed with Gentiles, vain eloquence, and foreigners too.
You, physician, listen to me. Keep out of there if you do not want your faith insulted and defiled.
Is it the Tarsus man? Preaching resurrection and curing the sick. You'll be losing some of your patients.
Some of you are Jews. Some of you are Gentiles. Yet fearers of a God you do not know. Others of you have worshipped sticks and stones and empty air. I bring the good news to all. The Son of God, who lived among us as a carpenter, of Nazareth in Palestine, died for us and, most wonderful, has risen again from the dead. He leaves us his word, which is a simple one. Love. He leaves us the truth of his victory, and that of all who believe in him. He has conquered death, and we are his partners in that conquest. Love is the denial of death. Be baptized in the water of life, and learn a great renewal. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Baptize me, Paul.
Well, there are going to be enough of the hungry in Judea, I can tell you. 3 bad harvests in a row. And corn already rising beyond the reach of the purses of the people.
And not only in Judea, even Italy. The Emperor Claudius is going to have his hands full.
Let him feed his own.
And his own include the people of Judea.
Judea has her own king now. But the king is above such petty matters as the feeding of the people.
What do you want, Agabus?
You and Barnabas here have spoken of going back to Jerusalem.
To meet Peter and James, yes, but not until we finished our work here in Antioch.
You'll find no better work for the moment than taking money to Jerusalem. There's corn to be bought in Egypt, dried fruits in Cyprus. Oh, the price is high. But what can you expect in a time of coming want? Let your Antioch faithful think of their Judean brethren. This is a rich town. Get money.
How much is in the grain stores in Jerusalem?
Enough for 2 months, if there were to be a just distribution. But the rich are bribing and hoarding, and Herod Agrippa counts his gold. You've an urgent business on your hands.
What time?
I think we should try and leave it first light.
Paul! Well,
I've heard you in the synagogue.
And I think, have seen you on the banks of a certain stream, like a man who would swim, but who fears the water may be cold.
A man has to have time to think.
What's your name?
Luke. Greek, of course. A physician by trade. I approve of your philosophy of the healing of the sick. A cure is often a matter of confidence, which you would probably call faith.
Are you finding faith?
I think so. I think I'm ready to step into the water, however cold it is. Tomorrow, if I may.
Well, tomorrow we start work of a different kind. It better be now. Under the moon.
The moon? An Antioch goddess who has turned out only to be dead metal.
Metal. Now that's much more to the point. Tomorrow we start collecting gold and silver to buy food for the starving. But your trade is with the body. You should be interested in that.
Enroll me in the service first, then give me my orders.
It's like this, Metellus. Or do you want to be called Caleb?
There's no further point in pretense, is there?
Well, if you were rich, like these fat-bellied usurers, you could buy Roman citizenship. Not officially, of course, but it is being done. The Emperor's secretaries, the Horus Majesty, the Empress Messalina, they're all making a quiet fortune selling it.
Roman citizenship for sale.
Oh, yes.
Well, so much for a promising athletic career.
But I would keep you on. I think you know that. Greek, Jew, Egyptian, makes no difference to me. But you, my boy, you've got qualities. But it's more than a job worth.
You know why I came to Rome?
To destroy Rome. What else? No, Caleb, I know. You helped kill Gaius Caligula and you found your sister married to an army man, yes?
Julius Valerius. Talk of the power of love. A Roman marrying a Jewish slave.
That, my friend, turns her into a Roman. At least she's safe. Caleb, you should be the last person to discriminate about blood with me. All blood is the same. I've seen enough of it here to know. I'm as good a Numidian Roman as you will find. There's nothing wrong with being a Roman. Besides, my friend, you seem to be quite fond of a particular one, yes? Good luck, my friend.
Claudius gives us no more time.
We're grateful to you, but no, we cannot accept. One Jew may be easily hidden, disguised among the slaves at your country house. Add 2 more. You've got 2 too many.
Besides, we want to go back to Corinth. It was our first home after leaving our native Pontus. We've heard that men traveling in the name of Jesus of Nazareth are going there.
Yes, great things are happening, Caleb. The followers of Christ are becoming legion. A peaceful army all over the empire.
There is no victory for such an army, Aquila. You've seen it. One beast dies, another springs up. A stuttering idiot.
Claudius does not stutter anymore. Power has given him a sharp tongue and claws. We used to think of him as a man of learning, rich with virtues. Now we see him lusting after prostitutes. He keeps 2 of them in his palace. And his wife, Messalina, takes revenge by selling herself in a brothel.
It may be a blessing our having to leave Rome after all.
When do you leave?
At dawn. We've sold everything we had.
Yes, we should have enough money for our passage to Greece. When do you go?
I leave for Tuscany tomorrow to see my mother. Caleb will meet me there in a few days with the wagons carrying the supplies from the harbor of Ostia.
From gladiator to wagoner. A brilliant career.
I'll be farming your land. And one day, you'll work for me on mine.
In Judea.
That's all he dreams about.
Not like Sarah. Have you seen her again, Caleb?
Not yet. I'll try and see my stray sister when she's alone.
May God go with both of you.
Which? The one from Nazareth?
Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God. The Lord is one.
That's him. That's Peter the fisherman. Seize him!
Now, you move that animal out of my way.
Hey, what are you doing?
You are lucky. The man they called James, your brother, wasn't he? He was executed yesterday. You're kindly allowed to live till after Passover. Gives you time to brood over things, doesn't it? Eat your nice dinner.
Lord, that night, the Mass seems so long ago. You said, not my will, but your will be done. Well, those are my words now. And yet, you called me the Rock. You told me to feed your sheep. I've got work to do, Lord. And I pray that by your power I may be allowed to do it. But all is in your hands. Not my will, but yours be done. Lord, I believe. Lord, I hope. Lord, above all, I love. Amen.
Wake, Peter. Rise.
leader of the fishermen has escaped.
Escaped?
Members of the faith and friends of the faithful, we are assembled in a time when little would seem to hinder the growth of this church in Jerusalem and the daughter churches of Asia. The rule of Judea, since the sudden death of its king, is, as you all know, reverting to Rome. We expect a procurator appointed by the Emperor Claudius, and we anticipate a certain measure of Roman justice. James, good and just, whose name none of us can utter without remembering his martyred namesake, James leads the Jerusalem church. My work lies elsewhere, as does that of so many of my colleagues, Paul, Barnabas, Mark, Titus, who are busily bringing the word to the Gentiles. And we are met today to consider a particular question: the relationship between these same Gentiles and the followers of the Lord Jesus Christ, who, born a Jew, came to fulfill, not to abolish, the law of Moses.
But what about circumcision? We demand circumcision.
Friends, we know that when God called us his chosen people, he also meant us to be a light unto the Gentiles. Now, I conclude from this that we should stop troubling the Gentiles about circumcision, but that we should write to our new churches in Asia telling them not to worship idols, not to commit fornication, and not to eat meat that has been strangled and contains blood. Will not this meet our needs? It is understanding that we wed the word of Moses to the word of Jesus.
Stand firm against trials. Let hope keep you confident. Share with those who are in need. Open your house to them. Be happy with those who are happy. Weep with those who weep. Remember that everyone who calls upon the name of the Lord will be saved. Everyone. We are loved by God as the chosen people, loved for our ancestors. But just as our ancestors changed from being disobedient to God and were forgiven, so those of you who are now disobedient will find mercy in God. To him be glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Welcome to Corinth, Paul.
You know me.
I just heard you speak. Your words moved me. So I waited, hoping to meet you. We need your guidance.
As you should guide me. I need lodgings.
Very difficult to find. Corinth is full up, partly due to us Jews, of course, being expelled from Rome. Why don't you come to my home? Meet my wife. Break bread with us.
The Lord be praised for generous men. Thank you.
Aquila's the name. Aquila from Pontus.
You find this blasphemy comic? But I work in the name of the Lord, and they hail me in the name of Mercury.
The god of thieves, but also the god of fine speech. I think the story has humor in it. Like that other story you told, about being put in prison, and then an earthquake comes and opens the doors for you. I always knew that God had a fine sense of the comic.
Oh, I don't see it.
Perhaps you will when you see the stories written down. These tales of the Lord's work must not be lost to the future.
Precisely the words of Luke. Who's he? He's a Greek physician I met and converted in Antioch. He has a taste for writing. He too has what you would call a sense of the comic. He wrote to me. He wants to travel with me. Oh, I see. I am to become a character in a Greek tale.
Well, what's more real than some of the Greek heroes? Odysseus, Hector, Ajax. Why should the pagans have all the best heroes? What's wrong with the travels of Paul?
Oh, no. People of Ephesus, I come to you after many journeys. From Jerusalem to Tarsus, and from Tarsus to Syria. I have brought the good news to Cyprus, to Antioch in Pisidia, to Iconium, Lystra and Derbe, to Philippi, to Athens, to Thessalonica, to Corinth. My authority was conferred upon me by the living God himself. As his apostle and slave, I have seen and suffered as much from the waves of the sea as I have from men with hard hearts in the towns of my travels. It is no easy work to bring the good news, yet the hardship is softened by God's grace. For God's love permits the working of the yeast of his word through signs and wonders. When you say the man Paul has cured the sick, given sight to the blind, driven out the frenzy of devils from men's souls, you say wrong. It is the power of God working through Paul. For the man Paul has no power.
The news?
All over. A stroke after dinner. His heart suddenly stopped.
He proclaimed the succession.
He proclaimed it.
Be so good as to assure the Emperor that the Praetorian Guard is ready to serve him with the devotion it gave to his father.
You use the word father as a figure of speech, I take it. The Emperor designate is not Britannicus.
Not Britannicus.
The Emperor is the son of my mother, and luckily she has no other, for the Emperor can do no wrong, and that is the end of my song.
That's the right signal.
Ah, shalom. Oh, shalom. You brought the baby.
Shalom.
It's wonderful
Shalom.
to see you again. It's good to see you back
Join
in
us,
Rome
won't you?
again.
How's little Ruth?
She's sleeping. My husband's lulled her to sleep with the story of Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome, who were abandoned under a fig tree and fed by a she-wolf.
Isn't she too young to understand it?
Ah, Valerius believes it's never too early to turn even a baby into a full-blooded Roman.
But she's a Jew like her mother.
Both.
Like Paul.
Yes, Paul of Tarsus.
It's a strange coincidence. Sarah and I once knew a Saul of Tarsus. Wait, I heard some story about him. He changed his name?
Yes, along with his ways. We met him in Corinth. He worked with me.
Of course, the same trade.
Yes, the trade he uses to finance his other trade, his real trade, spreading the word. We learnt a lot from Paul.
About Jesus the Nazarene.
He said something very strange, Paul. He said, wait, don't rush into it. God worked on me like a flash of lightning. But on others, it's a lingering, slow, sweet skill. I'll always remember those words.
Those were good days. Do you remember that evening over dinner? When Paul said he looked forward to baptizing us in the Tiber. But when you look at the state of Rome today...
There's a certain new tolerance. More Jews about. We have these meetings.
You sound more positive now.
What was it he said? Lingering, slow, sweet, something or other?
Skill. Takes a lot of skill to weave a future for two. Women are great weavers.
When you hear the wolf howl, feel no fear. Romulus and Remus dropped no tear when they heard the wolf howl near and near. Mama is coming.
I was hoping to meet Peter here.
Yes, you know how sad he'll feel not to be here for Passover. Shame.
There he is going in now.
The man himself, Paul, the renegade Saul, with a man from Ephesus, a Greek physician, a Gentile, taking Gentiles into the temple.
Now we have him. Call the others. Tell the priests. Get them both when they come out.
Thus far, no further. You see, it's forbidden. Oh, there's the sign. Written in Latin and Greek. Read it.
Whoever is a follower of a foreign religion is forbidden to go any further. Anyone who trespasses beyond this gate will be killed, and he alone shall be answerable for his death.
You go your way, Luke. I must perform the rite of purification.
There he is! He's a pawn of Rome! Go on! Get down there quickly! Stop that riot!
First centurion in Jerusalem to the noble governor Felix in Caesarea. Greetings. This man was seized by the Jews and was about to be killed by them. I rescued him, having learned that he is a Roman citizen. Anxious? No. Desirous to know the grounds of their accusations, I had their counsel examine him. He was accused about certain questions of their law, but nothing was laid to his charge worthy of death or even imprisonment. Now it has come to my notice that there is a murderous plot against this man. Therefore, I send him to you forthwith. I am charging his accusers also to speak against him in your presence.
Break. Good. Rub down, then to the bar. Valerius.
I'm ordered to Palestine, Metellus.
You can call me Caleb. Everyone in the family does. Sapanius seems to have adopted me. He even talks of my taking his place when he retires.
I've come to accept my life in Rome.
Apparently, with Claudius dead, we Jews should be safe. So, Palestine. Perhaps Rome may one day decide to free my land.
That's not likely to happen. The Roman eagle seldom releases its prey.
Only more Romans felt like you. Sarah going?
No, she won't come. She says she never wants to see Palestine again. The truth is that if she did, maybe she'd never come back, and I'd be forced to stay there forever.
You're working under the new procurator?
Yes, Porcius Festus. I have to sail with him to Caesarea. Sarah thinks she can bear a year's separation.
Can you?
She has our Ruth. I will have nobody. Do you ever think of going back?
To start insurrections, kill Porcius Festus and you in the name of a free Israel? Well, I'm married now. Corinna cannot live without me. I need her as I need air. Besides, Nero seems to be willing to make concessions. I heard he freed many of his slaves. He proclaims that